Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you guys all so much for coming today. I'm Anne Marie Leahy, and I work in career services at Santa Monica College. And in career services, we really like to share with you guys, our students, the importance of networking in order to land a job. And one of the most powerful tools that we have today to network with is LinkedIn. And we are so lucky today. We have with us our very own LinkedIn expert, Ryan Zarbakos. He's the Senior Relationship Manager at LinkedIn Learning. And today he's going to share with us tips on how to get the most out of LinkedIn and answer any questions that you may have. So you guys get ready to take good notes. And Ryan, take it away.
Awesome. I make no guarantees about what I say today, okay? So I'm just kidding. Super excited to be here to chat with you all today for the next hour. We have an hour, right? About LinkedIn. What I used to do is I used to do a long slide deck and, go through all of here's how you do X, Y, and Z. And I realized that is not really compelling and it's kind of boring. And so I do things a little bit differently nowadays. And what I do nowadays is really just try to go over a few things so that when you leave here today, you feel empowered and maybe inspired to actually take action with LinkedIn. So we're going to cover four topics today. We're going to cover 4 topics today. The first thing we're going to cover is why you should be on LinkedIn. And I think that's really important because I know you all are busy, right? I know you have busy lives and you have a lot on your plate. And here is this old guy telling you, you should be on LinkedIn. And so instead of me doing that, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you examples of students and I'm going to give you information so that obviously you can make the best decision for yourself. I'm super biased when it comes to LinkedIn. I've been here for 6 years. I love it. It's an amazing company. But just because I love it doesn't mean that it's right for you. And so what I want to do again is share with you why you should be on LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about that. Second thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about your portfolio, your profile, and thinking about your profile as a story instead of as a resume. It is not a resume. It's really, really not. And we've changed a lot in the last 5 to 10 years. Really recently, we've changed a lot. And so the hope that I have for you is that you'll feel more comfortable getting on LinkedIn, even if you are younger and you have only had one job. And you're like, well, why should I be on LinkedIn? I've only got one job and it's a barista or I'm a server, right? I am here to tell you that you should be on LinkedIn a lot, all right? And it doesn't matter what your work experience is, you have a ton of life experience. And so showcasing your story is going to be almost more important than I'm going to say it's as important or more important than your experiences. So that's the second thing we're going to cover. Third thing we're going to cover is we're going to cover growing your network. You all have heard that saying, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, right? We've all heard that saying. So it's true today now more than ever. 70% of jobs are found through a network, 70%. So it doesn't matter if you were like me, you're a first-gen student. My father didn't even graduate high school. And you're going to school, you don't have a network, it doesn't matter anymore. That even though that does impact you, right? It does make it a little more difficult for you, for those of you that are first-gen students or underrepresented students. LinkedIn is a place for you to grow your network quickly and easily, and it will make a difference for you. So we're going to talk about that. And then the last thing we'll talk about is we're going to talk about posting content on LinkedIn, using LinkedIn like a social media platform. If you do all those 3 things, share your story, grow your network, post content, I guarantee you will kill it. I guarantee you it will make a huge difference in your life. But it's not an easy thing to do. I know it's not an easy lift and it takes time. So, after this, hopefully you'll feel more comfortable, and you obviously have great resources on campus to go to career services, and they'll always help you, point you in the right direction and give you help when you need it. Okay, so let's talk about why before I actually jump into LinkedIn and show you all examples of young people that have been using LinkedIn. So that's what I do today. Instead of showing you a slide deck, is we actually show you LinkedIn profiles of students. So why you should be on LinkedIn. We are growing very, very rapidly. We have about 800 million people on the network now. We have 18 million job postings on LinkedIn. We place more people into new jobs than any other platform, and that includes Indeed. Indeed used to be the largest. We are the largest place to find a new job. We place more people in new jobs than any other place. So that's a pretty good why, but let's go deeper into why you should be on LinkedIn. Now, where I'm going to have you guys drop in the chat. Where do you think LinkedIn makes most of their money? Where do you think LinkedIn makes money? Do y'all have any idea on how we make money? Anybody want to guess? Drop it in the chat. There are no bad guesses, by the way. Ads, Miguel, great answer. Natalie, ads. We do have an ad revenue now. We know normally when I first started doing these, it was not a very big revenue source. Now it is a very big revenue source, but it's not quite our largest. Anybody else have an idea where our largest revenue is? Actually, it's about the same now, to be honest with you, ads and our other revenue. Different types of account that you're thinking of, our premium account, probably. That's a really good guess, but that is not correct. Karen, you're totally right. It's companies looking for employees. That is exactly right. Our premium is not free, right? Premium, you have to pay $60 a month. Only 3% of our members pay for premium. Only 3%. 97% of people that are on LinkedIn use LinkedIn for free. So we make our money through charging companies to find employees. Karen, you hit it on the head. That is brilliant business model. I wish I would have thought of it. Now that's cool. I can say we make our money by charging corporate America to find you, but let's talk about our market share. What do you think our market share is for the Fortune 500 companies? What percentage of Fortune 500 companies do you think pay LinkedIn? I pointed at myself. They don't pay me, or else if they did, I'd be kicking it in the Caribbean somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They pay LinkedIn. What percentage of Fortune 500 companies pay LinkedIn to find you? What do you think it is? Drum roll, please. Let's see if anybody gets the right answer. Sorry for my dogs in the background. Ugh. What is going on here? Anybody want to guess? Is Zoom working? Am I like, and nobody's guessing? What the heck? 40%, Karen. That's a low guess. Juana, only 5%. What in the world? No, this is not 5%. Elijah, 75%. 99% is much closer. The answer is 95%. 97%. 97%. It used to be 100% before COVID happened. We lost a little bit of market share just because companies didn't have the money and they weren't hiring. But today we have 97% of Fortune 500 companies paying us to find you. 90% of corporate recruiters are using LinkedIn in general. So when I tell you, like, quantifiably, like real data, that we have 800 million members, 18 million jobs, we place more people than Indeed. 97% of Fortune 500 companies pay us to find you. 90% of corporate recruiters are using us. Basically, what that guarantees you is that when you're applying for a job today in 2021, in California specifically, we have 85% of working adults have LinkedIn profiles in California. What that tells you is that you're guaranteed somebody's going to look at your LinkedIn profile before they interview you. That's where we are today. Okay. I'm just telling you facts. So that's a pretty compelling reason for you to get on LinkedIn. And most of you probably are. Most of you probably have a LinkedIn profile. If you haven't, you're like, I'll probably get one. So you're going to get a LinkedIn profile, but that's just the bare bones. That's the minimum. What we want to do today is we want to take you from being just like on LinkedIn to crushing it on LinkedIn, to having opportunity come to you where you are planting seeds, right? Over the next 5-6 months, just doing little bits of little things daily on LinkedIn. I'm talking about like 5 minutes a day. If you do a little bit of work every day and you put a little bit of effort into your profile, you will see so much success. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I've been doing these workshops now for about 6 years. And over the last few years, I've been coaching a lot of students. And so now today, every example I'm going to show you are students that I've coached, and they're just crushing it on LinkedIn. So they're just like you. They've been in school, and now they are doing the jobs that they've always wanted to do because they've been just practically applying some of these tips I'm telling you. So that's what we're going to do today. Now we're going to go into actually showing you how to use LinkedIn, since hopefully I've given you enough information as to why. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen over here. You should be able to see it now. Yes. Awesome. Thank you for shaking your heads. I do have 2 windows up, so please feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat, and I will answer them on the fly. Or if you just want to raise your hand and ask a question, that works as well. Okay, so Step two, we're going to talk about your profiles. And I want to show you a profile of a few students. So I'm going to show you Bridget. Bridget is a good example of what you can do on LinkedIn. So she used to be a student at Cal State Long Beach. You can see now she's working at this small company. You might not have heard of it. I don't know, Google. Somebody's heard that one, right? And so we're going to go through her profile real quickly because, just little things that she's done has really made her stand out. The first thing we're going to talk about is your profile picture. It does not need to be a professional photo, okay? It can be just on your phone, do a nice selfie, smile, be happy, and just take a headshot, crop out your head. 70% of our traffic is on a mobile device. So the mobile device, that picture is tiny. You need to have a profile picture. The background photo, it should be something that is starting to make people aware of your brand and your personality. All right. When you think about your brand, I want you to think about of it in terms of when somebody reads my profile, they get to know who I am as a person, and they get to kind of know what to expect from me as an employee. This is really different than what you see on a resume. A resume can't be that. A resume is a tool where you're trying to get through minimum qualifications, right? That's what a resume is. They are looking, do they have the right education? Do they have the right skills, right? Whatever it is. Normally they're looking, quite frankly, from what I hear, is just what skills they have, what education they have. There's not much else they can look at on a resume because they're just looking really quickly. They're just trying to scan through it really quickly. I met with this vice president of at a company where they do a lot of placement. They place about 3,000 people throughout the year in new jobs throughout the world, throughout the country, I should say. And he told me, he's like, you know what, when we're helping place people, what I hear most often is that recruiters and hiring managers are looking for two things. They're looking for attitude and aptitude. Attitude and aptitude. You cannot showcase your attitude on a cover letter or a resume. They're not designed for that. So what is happening today? Again, remember why you should be on LinkedIn. Everybody's using LinkedIn. The reason why is because now when you showcase your personality and you showcase more depth to who you are, it allows hiring managers to go and take a look at all of these resumes, all of these people that have the minimum qualifications, and narrow that down to the people they want to interview. So what you can do on LinkedIn is you can differentiate yourself from the next person by showcasing your personality, being you, being authentic, and giving you more opportunity, and giving the hiring manager more opportunity to go, okay, if I'm interviewing Elijah, I kind of have an idea of the background, right? That's what I'm talking about, what I get to expect when I get to interview them. And that starts with when they land on your page, what do they see, right? We're visual people, right? What do they see? They see your profile picture, your background photo, and your headline. And so you want to start there with something that is more than just the basics. And you've got to have a background photo. If you leave that off, that's immediately telling people that you haven't spent time to do it. Anybody can say, I'm hardworking. Anybody can say I'm disciplined. Anybody can say that. And that's what you do. You put all of these keywords on your resume, all the things that you think you are. On LinkedIn, I want you to focus less on putting in keywords and focus more on putting in action. Here's what I've done. Here's who I am. And showcasing that. The more effort you put in your LinkedIn profile, the more it shows to a recruiter when they look at your page. When they look at Bridget's page, they know that she's a hard worker. She doesn't have to say it. They know she is. You know what I'm saying? So the background photo is super important. I love her background photo here because she starts with this quote. It's time to look inward and start asking yourself the big question, who are you and what do you want? Anybody know without looking at the fine print what that's from? Anybody know what show that's from? Just curious if somebody's going to drop it in the chat without looking. Okay, that is from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is actually anime, and I didn't even know that until my daughter told me. But I love this because it starts showcasing her personality, right? It's kind of like if you're in the know, you know. If you don't, you think that's just a cool quote, right? Now, if you're like me and you're not creative like her, you have no excuse not to get a background photo anymore because we now have some that you can use. So you click on View Profile. And then right here, you can tap on this or click on this, depending if you're on your phone or not. Click on this pencil. You'll notice that I have a background photo here. So I'm going to click on Change Photo, and you'll see that you can upload a new photo. You can add a custom image right here. And we have this new feature now because LinkedIn is committed to equity and inclusion and allowing hiring managers to find people that are of a certain ethnicity. So if you want to identify, you can go on the back end of LinkedIn and tell LinkedIn what your race is. It's up to you if you want to do it. And it is a private thing. Nobody else can see it except recruiters if they want to. You can also add these background photos for disability inclusion or celebrating Latino voices, the Stop Asian Hate Movement, Black Lives Matter, Stand for Justice, LGBTQ, all of these, right? So if you want to show that you're an advocate, you can do that. Super easy to do that and add that profile background photo to your profile. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the actual headline. The headline should be more aspirational. All right. I want you to think about where you want to go with your career, or, what makes you happy, where it is not supposed to be a regurgitation of where you're going to school and where you're currently working or where your current internship is. It's not supposed to be that. I mean, that's literally right here. So what you can do here is you can think about, how do you want somebody to think about you when they read your profile? The first thing here, Bridget talks about guiding individuals into the next step of their careers, which is something she does at Cal State Long Beach. Now that she's gone, she just helps people with LinkedIn. This is one of her passions, is helping people. So what I want you to do now is I want to scroll down to the About section. Now, this is key. Like, this About section is where the rubber meets the road with people getting to know who you are as a person. Let's take a look at Bridget's real quickly. She says, complacency is a continual struggle we all have to fight. She starts with a quote from Jack Nicklaus, which kind of grabs your attention and gets the reader's attention. Now, you may be thinking, what the hell? Everybody's telling me that it needs to be short and sweet, and no recruiter is going to read every single word of my resume. They're not going to read a novella if I put it on my About section. Nobody's going to read that. And here's my pushback to you. Nobody reads resumes because they're not compelling. All right. They're boring. They're terrible. They're just a tool. People read, they want to know about you. And if it's a compelling story, they'll read it. If it's a story, people read it. And the other thing is that you don't need everybody to read it. You only need the right people to read it. And so when, I ask you, what is the first question you get asked in an interview? Put it in the chat. What's the first question you often get asked in an interview? Somebody tell me. The most common question to be asked in an interview is, somebody put it in the chat or speak up. Tell me about yourself. Thank you. Everybody got it. That's the first question you get asked. That's what I want you to answer here, right? That's what I want you to answer on LinkedIn. When they get to your profile, you care about hiring managers and recruiters. When they're getting to your profile, they're getting this answer of, tell me about yourself. Who is Lexi? Who is Luisa? Right? That's what I'm saying. And LinkedIn is the only platform that allows you to do that. No other platform really allows you to do that and showcase your story. Are you an immigrant? Are you a first-gen student? Are you working your way through college? Were you in competitive athletics or dance or cheer or played a musical instrument all your life? What did those things teach you, right? What adversities have you overcome? Again, anybody can say I'm resilient, show it that you're resilient. Anybody can say you're a hard worker, show it, right? So I can show you profile after profile of students. Like, one is like they had a full ride scholarship for volleyball, worked all their life on volleyball, got injured, lost their scholarship, had to change their whole life, had to come back to California, start all over. That's resiliency, right? That showcases resiliency. These are the things that you can say in your About section that showcase who you are as a person. And the beautiful thing about this is every one of us has a story. Every one of us has a story to tell. And so I want you to embrace that. I want you to embrace the About section as your opportunity to say, this is who I am. This is where I want to go in my career. This is what I love to do outside of work. Somebody hire me, right? The more authentic that you are, I promise you, the more people will respond to that and reach out to you. And that is just a fact. Again, because people want to work with people they know. Now, I'm going to scroll down a little bit further and I'm going to go to the featured section. Now, the featured section allows you to feature content. You can actually embed digital media, meaning if you are if you're creative, right? you're into music, or you are into graphic design, or you're a marketing student and you have projects, you can actually embed those in there. If you're not in one of those and you want to embed some of the links to maybe the posts that you've done on LinkedIn, or like here, what Bridget did, she uploaded a resume. Make sure you take off your personally identifiable information, please. That is, there are a lot of crazies out there. But there's all kinds of things you can do in the featured section right here. If you were so bold, you could actually take your phone and record a quick minute video, 30-second to a minute video. Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm a second-year student. This is where I want to go in my career. I'm looking at internship opportunities in this type of field. If anybody knows of anything, please hit me up. Do you think for a second that that is going to hurt you? For 1 second, do you think that that is going to hold you back from getting a job? The answer is no, it's not. And it's only going to help you. You would be shocked to see how many people reach out to you because you put that video on there and you put it in your featured section and maybe posted it up. The reason for that is that LinkedIn is social media. It is not just a job board. It is not a resume. It is social media. And it's social media designed with one purpose in mind, and that purpose is to try to help you get where you want to go in your career. That's it. It's not meant to have fun. It's not like TikTok. It's not like Insta or anything like that. Those are fun platforms. This is a platform that allows you to get where you want to go in your career, not just today or tomorrow, but for the rest of your career. And LinkedIn is only getting bigger, and more people are on it, and more people realize this is where you go to find talent. That is what LinkedIn is known for, finding talent. And guess what? All of you are talent. All right. Now I'm going to scroll down a little bit further, and I'm going to go into her experience section. Like your experience section, you can upload your resume and put it in here. That's, I think, is a good start. What I want you to do is I want you to start thinking about it in more of a way to tell a story. Like here, she said in 1981, Guess sold its first jeans. And then she, kind of explains what Guess is. You can explain what your company is, what you learned, how you grew with the company, why you loved working there. Like you could do more than just say, I was a server at XYZ, right? Everybody knows what a server does. But drop in the chat, what do you learn as a server? What skills do you learn as a server? Let's drop it in the chat. What are things that you would learn as a server? What do you think? Anybody? Communication, exactly. Customer service, exactly. How about dealing with difficult people? That's a good one. Yeah, exactly. I'm a difficult person.
Learning how to control yourself, like while someone's being rude, like obviously you're not going to disrespect them the way they're disrespecting you. And I think that builds a lot of character.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I usually disrespect them back, but no, I'm just kidding. I would never do that. No, that is a really good point, right? And what most people think when they think of a resume, like that's difficult to articulate on a resume. You can kind of put it on there, but you can tell stories on LinkedIn, right? Here's what I learned in my days as a server, as a hostess or a host or a bus boy or whatever it is, right? And so that's what I want you to think of when you're thinking of LinkedIn, especially for those of you that are younger that don't have a lot of work experience. It's not about that, right? All of the things that are in this feed right now, in the chat, dealing through difficult situations, consistently maintaining level head, multitasking, people skills. You need those skills for every job, right? So this is what LinkedIn allows you to do. Now, for more like tactical skills, right? I want to show you something down here. Is you put in your skills and endorsements. You need to have at least 5 of these in your profile, at least 5, but you should have as many as Bridget does. Like anything that you've learned in school that will help you with your skill set, you put it in here, right? Just add it in here. And the reason for this is because remember that not the marketing tool, I saw the word marketing in here, the LinkedIn tool that we sell to hiring managers and recruiters, we call it our talent module. They can actually search. So it's a really robust search tool, and they can search for people with a specific skill. And so the more skills you have in here, the more likely you will get caught up in a search. Now, a couple of things I want to do. I'm going to scroll back to the top, and I want to take just a second to tell you a little bit about what LinkedIn is trying to do with equity, because a lot of us, or a lot of you on this call are maybe first gens or underrepresented. So I want to just tell you a couple of things that make me proud to work for this company and make me feel comfortable with you telling you to tell your own story. Because we know the playing field isn't level, right? We know it's not level. Everybody has a different story to tell and different hurdles they have to overcome. LinkedIn is a data-driven company. And so what we realized and what we know is that if you get caught up in a search filter, right? If your name was found in a search result a certain number of times, that you should be reached out to by recruiters. So I'm just going to choose some names on here, right? And I see Natalie right here. So let's say Natalie has been in a search result 30 times. We know based on her profile and her education and how relevant the search result is to what the recruiter is looking for, that Natalie, after 30 times, should have been invited or at least reached out to by the recruiter, one of those recruiters, maybe 5 times. And what we've noticed is that after 30 times, she's been reached out to nobody. What LinkedIn is now doing is taking a look at her demographics, and we are anonymizing her name and removing her profile picture and making it anonymous. And when we did that, within less than a month, 3 times as many underrepresented people were invited to interviews. All right. So LinkedIn is trying to do something about like conscious and unconscious bias out there. So it's one of the things I just want to share with you where LinkedIn is doing that. Now, the tool that I was telling you about, that marketing tool, the hiring tool, you can actually turn a filter on where it just anonymizes everybody. And we're trying to get more people to do that. This is why we want the equity out there that you to identify, because more and more places are looking for diverse talent. So that is what LinkedIn is about. And Bridget is a good example of your profile. Does anybody have any questions? I've covered a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions about the profile before I move on? No questions about the profile. All right. Oh, there we go. How personal does it have to be? Andres, I would say that is a personal choice, right? It is your profile. And so if you don't want to be like super, deeply personal, then I get it. And I'm not saying like tell people every single thing that you've gone through in your life. I'm just saying, I want you to share a story of yourself so people get to know you better. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing, you should share. I'll give you another example. I'm going to show you an example really quickly right here. This is Sarah. Sarah is one of my favorite people on earth. I met her when she was at UC Santa Cruz a few years ago. And I want to see if her profile, I don't think she's changed her profile. So what the heck? So real quickly, we'll read her about section. She says, around my neck on a thin red cord, a tiny jade lock and key was placed by my biological parents in the busy streets of Anhui, China. The necklace symbolizes that the world would unlock for me, but through my new explorations and experiences, I wanted to help unlock it for others. My positive and upbeat attitude derives from the gift I was given when I was adopted at the age of 2.5 years old. On and on. That's pretty personal. Like that's a pretty personal thing. She put that out there. She feels comfortable with it. If you don't feel that comfortable with it, you don't have to do that. I want you to be you and be authentic to you. Really what you want to do is just put yourself in a position where you feel most comfortable and most authentic. Luis, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question regarding the background image. Can you go over that one more time as far as like what's kind of what we should strive to do?
Yeah, what you should strive to do is think about it in terms of, if you're creative, like think about how you want to be people to think about you and brand you, if at all possible. If you are not creative like me, I would just grab one of our background photos and put it on there and you're cool. But if you're a photographer, maybe take some of your pictures, or if you love the city, or a lot of students actually have pictures of their college. Like you'll have great pictures of your college, right? And photos that you can get on Google, you put it on there. So my point with it is I just want you to feel like it represents you in one way or another. My daughter she loves Disney, and her background, I'll show you hers, right? This is my daughter's background photo. I normally don't do this, but because you asked about background photos, this is her background photo. She's a Disney freak, right? Nobody is not going to hire her because she has a Disney photo in the background. That's not going to happen, right? So I want you to be you and just make it your own. Anastasia, no worries, my man. Anastasia, you're asking, what is the one or first? So what that is it actually leads into my next conversation, which is about growing your network and having connections. And so think of social media as, first degree connections on LinkedIn are people that you're connected to, and what a connection is and how it's different than, let's say, following somebody. Following is a one-way street. And let's say, Anastasia, you and I, like, you're following me. What that means, or I'm following you. Let's say I follow you, right? I'm following you. What that means is that I get to see all of your content. I can see your content and it comes up on my feed, but that's about it. You don't see any of my posts, and I can't message you and you can't message me. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit different than other social media platforms. When we connect, meaning that, let's say I reach out to you and I do a connection request, which I'm going to show you how to do in a second. And you're like, yeah, I'll connect with you. Now we're a first degree connection. And that means everything that I post, you can see. Everything you post, I can see. And I can message you anytime, and you can message me anytime. And so it's much more of an equal opportunity, it's an equal partnership. But here's the beauty of LinkedIn and first and second and third degree connections. The secondary connection is, let's say in this case, you and I are connected, and then I'm connected to Andres. That means he's a secondary connection from you. 1 and then 2, Andres. And then Andres is connected to Anna. That's a third degree connection from you. And the beauty of LinkedIn and the beauty of social media is that by default, right, indirectly, the larger first degree connections you have, the more people you're connected to in the first connection, the larger your secondary and the larger your third degree, right? And that's exponential. If you're connected to 500 people and all 500 are connected to 500, your secondary connections, 250,000 people. How crazy is that, right? So growing your network, your first degree connections is super important. Here's another thing that's important with first degree connections. If you have a first degree connection at the company at which you apply, you're twice as likely to get that job, just having a first degree connection. So the larger your network, the more likely you're going to get a job. So very good question. Leads me into my next topic. Anna, I heard that black and white profile photos get more attention. I don't know, Anna. I haven't heard that, to be honest with you. I think what you want to do is just have a nice picture and a headshot, a good headshot, and you should be fine. If you want to do it black and white, go for it. The feature page. Yes, I'll go over the feature page. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to actually add content into the feature page. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my profile here real quickly. I'm going to scroll down to the middle here, and this is the featured page. And you just click on this plus icon right here, or you tap on it on your phone. And then what you can do is you can link to posts that I've linked on LinkedIn. So this featured content are posts that I've done on LinkedIn. You can link to articles that you've published on LinkedIn. So if you like to write, you can do that. This is for those of you that are graphic designers or marketing majors or whatever, where you have portfolio projects and you want people to go to the portfolio project, or you want people go to an external link. You just click on this and you can link to any external website, YouTube, TED Talks, whatever. And then you actually can upload your own media too. So if you want to upload a PowerPoint presentation or upload a document or upload a video, you can do that right here. So that's in the featured section. If you log into LinkedIn and you haven't created a featured section, like, where the hell is it? Ryan said it was here. Go on to add section, and it's right here, featured section. Most people don't use all of the tools that are at LinkedIn's disposal. So, all right, great questions. Now let's talk about growing your network. So we're going to go to Santa Monica College. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go to your college page. Now, every single college and university in the United States has a college as a school page. In fact, most of our high schools now do now too. Apparently, California's #1 transfer college test 30 years. Yeah, right? Now, if you connect with me, by the way, before I forget, I'm going to do that. Let me just do that real quickly. I'm going to drop my name so that you all are more than welcome to connect with me. Boom, boom. I do this because I just want to have a lot of people in my network. I just want to be able to brag about my network size. No, I'm kidding. Y'all are more than welcome to connect with me. I went to USC when I was young. And one of the reasons I went, I was the first person from my family. My mom is an immigrant. Sorry, I thought my dog was behind me there for a second, sneaking up on me. I went to college and my dad didn't even graduate high school. I went to college on the Navy's dime. I was broke. I was like, I went to USC because of their alumni network. Like that was one of the major reasons I went. But remember, this was before the internet. Like this is when we communicated with stone tablets. You know what I'm saying? We had to walk uphill both ways to get places, you know, it was terrible. I'm kidding. It was actually a great life, but no social media, right? No way to connect with people without actually literally shaking their hands or having somebody like do the formal introduction for you. What LinkedIn figured out about 4 years ago, they're like, oh my God, at the time we had 400 million people and most of those people tell us what schools they go to. Why don't we put that in a place where every single one of our members can connect with other alumni? Because connecting with people with a commonality, it's much easier. This is a gold mine for you all. This is gold, right? You click on any school that you've gone to, click on this alumni tab, and we tell you where they work. We tell you where they live. We tell you what they do for a living and what they studied. You have 70,000 people that are alumni. I mean, look at all these companies, Amazon, Apple, Keller Williams. So let's in the chat, somebody drop in the chat a name that's not on here, and I'm going to show you how to use this tool. So tell me a company you'd love to work for that's not on this list. Anybody? SpaceX. All right. Chase, those are definitely on here. I guarantee it. SpaceX. Don't make me look bad, LinkedIn. 22 people working at SpaceX. So how do we use this? Scroll down here to the bottom and you find somebody that you want to connect with and connect. Add a note. It's that easy. Remember when I said spend 5 minutes a day on LinkedIn? That's what I'm talking about. If you spend 5 minutes a day and just say, I'm going to connect with 5 people, I'm just going to send connection requests out to 5 people. And I'm going to say who I am. I'm going to say I'm going to school. If they are an alumni, if they're an alumni, I'm going to the school you go to, like I'm going to SMC. Why are you connecting with them? If they're at SpaceX, they're doing the job you want. Maybe you ask for an informational interview. Maybe you just ask to grow your network. Short and sweet. Hi, I'm a current student at Santa Monica College. Notice you're at SpaceX. Would you mind being part of my network? Or do you have 5 minutes for an informational interview? Would love to find out what life is like at SpaceX. That's it. Anastasia, if you don't see a lot of profiles yet, it's probably because you haven't been engaged on LinkedIn enough. So we want to make sure that you are not a bot or basically not a bot. So if you don't have a lot of these people down here yet, or they're blacked out, just start engaging with the feed and populate your entire profile and start connecting with people like me and your career services. And it very quickly LinkedIn will realize, okay, you're not a robot, you're an actual real person, and we'll open that up to you. Okay. Thank you for dropping that in there. I forget to tell that to students. This is a gold mine. Remember what I told you. First degree connections help you get jobs. People that can mentor you or just even coach you, right? All the students I'm showing you, I'm not necessarily mentoring them, just giving them some advice, coaching them. That's it. Hey, you should do this. You should do that. Think about this. Think about that. One thing that I regret in my life is that I didn't ask for help or reach out when I was younger. I was very insecure, very intimidated. They won't want to help me. They don't want to. I was fear of rejection, right? I think we all go through that. What is the worst thing that can happen if you do 5 connection requests a day to people that are working in the industry that you want, at the company you want? What's the worst thing that can happen? They're not going to reach back out to you and diss you. They're not going to say something dumb. They're not. That's not this is not the platform for that. Nobody does that. It's rare, right? The worst thing that can happen is they're just going to ghost you. Oh, well, go on to the next person. The best thing that can happen is that they reach out to you and they're like, hey, Angel, I would love to have a conversation with you. Here's my calendar. Book some time. Let's talk. and you talk and you hit it off and you talk again, maybe a month later, you go have a cup of coffee, and next thing you know, you have a mentor without even asking for one. That's what I'm talking about. If you do this, if you grow your network and it will help you. I'm just telling you, it's a fact, right? That is a fact. And it's so easy to do. So every single company we talked about here, Chase is on here, Nike's on here. You have 70,000 people, you know, somebody works at Chase, right? You know, let's go JP Morgan Chase. 33 people work at Chase. You can also go to those websites. If we go over here to Nike, we can go to Nike and we can go to their people tab over here. And you can, they got 99,000 employees, 100,000 employees. Be like, I want I want to find people that are in Los Angeles, right? Boom. And you can narrow this down and connect with people. 5 connection requests a day. That's all you have to do. I'll show you an example of somebody who did this. It's just like you all. Or maybe he's a little bit further along in his career. So I met him about 2 years ago. Met him at 2019 when he was going to Saddleback College here in Mission Viejo. I live in South Orange County, so it's right down the street. His name is Mike, and he told me his story. And so he allowed me to share it with you. So all of these students that I'm showing you, they actually allowed me to share their profiles. He said, I want to tell you my story. He's like, I was here last year in this workshop, and I had a crappy profile because I didn't know what to do with it. And I had 2 people in my network. That was it. He's like, when I left this workshop, all I wanted to do was grow my network. He's like, it took me 3 months to go from 2 people to over 500. That's it. That's pretty cool. But what's really cool is that about a month after he hit that 500 threshold, this company, Cengage, reached out to him and said, we think you might make a good paid campus ambassador. Why don't you apply for that role? And he got the job. He's been there 2.5 years, and he's got a guaranteed job for him when he graduates. I was doing this workshop for Cal State Fullerton the other day. It was late last year, and one of his friends was on the workshop, and she's like, I know him. I was just talking to him, and he wanted me to tell you how important LinkedIn was for him. I'm just telling you that this is, this platform is equitable because it's free. Everything I'm showing you is free, and everything I'm showing you can be done on your phone. All right. It's crazy. This is not, it's just there. The deal is that most students don't know it, and you're uncomfortable with it. And so what I want you to do today is know that you can do this. Like, you can do this. People are there to help. Nobody's going to judge you. People are going to support you. You have people on campus, your career centers on campus, they will help you and guide you. I don't care if you're not the best writer in the world. If you're going to post something on LinkedIn and you want have somebody proofread it before you post it, you have support. If you do these things, it will work. I guarantee it. You're going to a really good school. You've got so much opportunity in front of you, but the competition is fierce. That's the deal. The competition is fierce, right? And so what you can do is you can start planting seeds to help yourself down the road. I wish this was a magic bullet, and I wish it would just happen overnight and you'd be like, boom. But every single student, I've shown you 2, I'll show you 3 or 4 more. Every single student, it's been a process. It's been 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years. But if you're going on and you're going to transfer, you got time, but not that much time. The more you start now, the more likely by the time you graduate and you get the degree you want, you have a job waiting for you. Who wants that? Who wants a job waiting for them when they graduate? I know I would, right? That's what I think about this, is just planting seeds. You are advocating for yourself. You're telling people what you're doing with your career, where you want to go. You're learning from people, and you're showcasing that. And that will only help you. Okay, I got a question about the job alert. Yes, I can show you job alerts really quickly. So what you can do here is you can click on the jobs tab. And then there are a couple of cool things on the job tab we have here. We have salary insights. We have this new thing called interview prep, which is pretty cool. What we do here is we tell you the most common interview questions and we help you answer them. Now, premium gives you sample answers, which is kind of cool. You don't necessarily need that. Even without premium, we give you an answer framework, which is cool. And we give you tips. So you do not need premium for this. You'll notice the most common interview question is, tell me about yourself, but check this out. Let's have categories. So if you're looking at any one of these jobs, click on here. We're going to help you with the most common interview questions and how to answer them. The other thing that we have on here is a resume builder. So that helps as well, and a skills assessment. Going to the job alerts. Here's how you do a job alert. Let's say you want to go into, you want to be an administrative assistant. We're going to do that. Oops, I got to click on it correctly. And we're going to do it in, not in the United States. Let's do Santa Monica. Oops. Do Santa Monica, California. Let's go ahead and search that. And then the job alert you can see is right here. So all you have to do is click on this tab, and then it'll create a job alert, and then you can manage these alerts. And what this allows you to do is manage how often you see them and where you see them. So it's taking me to a different page to manage the job alerts here. Actually, it isn't taking me to a different page. Wow, my computer is super slow. I need to figure this out. But the job alerts will also show up on your phone. So if you have a mobile device, you should download the LinkedIn app. It'll show up on your phone. You can actually turn on job recommendations. So what this does is we'll actually push recommendations to you. So it's even better than a job alert, because it might be a different job, kind of a different type of job, but in your area, and we'll push that out to you. Remember, we have just all kinds of analytics and data that's going to help you get where you want to go in your career. So that's how you create a job alert. The only time you cannot create a job alert is if you do a very granular search. Let's say you're looking for internships at Tesla in Santa Monica, let's say, and nothing pulls up. Well, then we can't do a job alert for that, because there's no job to alert you about, because there's no job there. So it's the only time you don't get a job alert. Okay, let's do the last thing with the last few minutes we've got here, which is posting content. Posting content is really, really important. All you have to do is just click on start a post, and then you can post about really whatever you want. Now, you could do, for example, an easy thing to do is to go and let's do LA Times. I'll show you how to do this. What you can do is grab the URL up top. Oops. And you can paste the URL in here. So anything that you're reading for school, right? You can actually post this in there. So my point is that you're learning all kinds of stuff in school right now. You can actually share that with other people. I read this article today in school, thought I would share, right? I just read this article, ... And then you can tag people just like you would on any other thing. I'm going to tag Ariana right here, because I'm going to tell you about her story in a second. I'll tag Evelyn here. I'll tell you her story in a second, all right? And then you can hashtag people, news of the day. Boom. Now you've done a post. 5 people can see it, 10 people can see it. Doesn't really matter. You know why? Because all of this activity shows up on LinkedIn, and any recruiter that looks at you is going to see your activity. The more activity you have, the more posts that you do, the more times you comment on people's posts, the more likely you will get a job. And that's a fact. And that's an easy thing to do. I'll show you what you can do. I'll give you an example of what I did. Serena, I follow Serena. She's a recruiter at Cox. And I'll show you one post I did. It was in my featured section. Real quickly, this is the post that she did. She posted, you don't know what to post on LinkedIn, here's where to start. So she uploaded a PowerPoint presentation, and she goes through tips on how to post content on LinkedIn. She's a great person to follow, great person to follow. All I did was I shared that post, and I wrote this information up here. I tagged her, and I had 6,700 views. And that's with only 84 people that have liked it, 6,700 views. You remember Evelyn? I was telling you about Evelyn. Let me show you her, right? This is one of the posts she did when she was an intern. She just did this post, super easy. I can't believe I only have a few weeks left in my internship. I've learned so much. I feel so fortunate. Thank you. And then she tagged her colleagues. These are not students. These are people that work for HP. She took a quick picture of herself, because when you do a selfie, when you take a picture, you get 5 times more views. If you do a video, you get 10 times more views. She got 200 impressions. This thing hit over 10,000 people, right? Yes, you should follow industry leaders, by the way, Anne-Marie. Definitely should follow industry leaders. It's really, really important, right? very powerful. Posting content is not easy to do. So what you can start with is just commenting on posts. Now, let me show you, I'm going to show you another success story here real quickly. This is Ariana. And sorry, I'm flying through these people. She actually now works at LinkedIn. I met Ariana about 2019 as well, a couple of years ago. And I coached her a little bit on LinkedIn as well. And when I first met her, she lives up in the Bay Area. And her goal was to, once she found out about LinkedIn, she's like, I really want to work at LinkedIn. Now, I just want to tell you how hard it is to work at LinkedIn. It's hard, right? We have 3,000 job openings. We have 1 million people apply. This is not hyperbole. It's very difficult to get a job here. I've recommended a lot of students. Only one has gotten a job here. That was Evelyn. I didn't even recommend Ariana. I'm going to tell you how she got these 2 jobs through LinkedIn by doing nothing above and beyond, just anything that you can do. All right. This is a company, it's a smaller tech company up in the Bay Area. And she wanted to apply for this human resources specialist, which was an internship position. So instead of just clicking on apply and being done with it, which is what everybody does, she actually found the CEO on LinkedIn. She went on that tool I showed you, went on the people tab and found the CEO. And she did a connection request, not a message, a connection request. And in the connection request, she said, hi, my name is Ariana. I'm a current student. I just applied for your internship and would love an opportunity to interview. That was it. That's all she said. She shot her shot with the CEO. What is the worst thing that can happen with that? Do you think the CEO is going to smash you? No. The worst thing that can happen is that they ghost you, which may not even be a bad thing because they're popular. Maybe they're not on LinkedIn. You'd be surprised. Maybe they are, they're busy. But what happened here was way different and way powerful. The CEO accepted her connection request about 3 hours later and messaged her and said, no student has ever done that, ever. I guarantee you an interview. She got the interview the next week, nailed the interview. The hiring manager, the manager, the person on the phone was like, well, normally we have to do 3 of these, but because my CEO loved you, and not CEO loved you, but basically my CEO said, if I like you, to hire you on the spot. So you got the job. Now she had that job and they wanted to hire her full time, but she really wanted to work at LinkedIn. Now I get this question all the time, which is, how do I connect with recruiters? I want to work at Microsoft, Apple, Google, wherever you want to work. How do I connect with recruiters? Recruiters are busy. They're in LinkedIn all the time. Everybody wants to connect with them. And they know why they want to connect with them, because they want you to help them get a job, or you want them to help you get a job. They can't. They won't. They don't. I mean, very rarely. So I don't think it's a really good idea to try to connect with recruiters, because it's not as authentic as connecting with somebody who's doing the job that you want to do. There's a good reason to connect with them. Now, if you want to be a recruiter, that's different. Go ahead and try to connect with recruiters. But what Ariana did that's different is she followed recruiters at LinkedIn. She followed them. And every single time they posted content, she would comment on that. And she'd think about it, an insightful comment. Now, recruiters are not rock stars. They don't have hundreds of people commenting. They might have 2 or 3 people commenting. And what happened is, after about 4 or 5 different comments of posts, one of our recruiters reached out to Ariana, was like, hey, you've been commenting on my post. Thanks. Let's connect. And about a month later, she reached out to Ariana and said, you should apply for this job. If I had a microphone, I'd drop it now. The thing I love about LinkedIn, and the thing I love about these stories I'm sharing with you, is that anybody can do it. Ariana's first person from her family to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Evelyn just tried and put herself out there. She said, I want to be in sales, and she did it. You know what I'm saying? Oops. The thing that is really important to me about doing these workshops is pushing past your fear, because LinkedIn is scary, right? I get it. It is a platform where you have a lot of professionals, a lot of executives, a lot of CEOs, and you're probably thinking, I'm 19, 18. What the hell am I going to put on here? I want you just to be authentic with yourself and just share your journey. You're not trying to tell people what to do. I don't think that's a good idea until you've got a little bit more experience. I don't even tell people what to do, right? Just be yourself, grow your network, and try to seek advice from other people. You do that and you're going to kill it. You grow your network, you're going to kill it. You talk about yourself, tell people where you want to go with your career, tell people about your experiences, you're going to kill it. Because every single hiring manager is going to LinkedIn before they interview you. And the more information you put on LinkedIn and the more time and effort you put into LinkedIn, it's obvious, right? Every one of their profiles, it's obvious they spend time on LinkedIn. So it's obvious they're hard workers. And that's why they have success coming their way. You know, Bridget had 2 job offers, one from Google and one from LinkedIn, amazingly enough. So all of these students have been able to get where they want to go in their career by just going after it. Okay, I got a question in the chat about something that's a little bit more specific, like you want to be in medicine or you want to be something really, really specific. I would say that the best bet is to try to, again, connect with people that are doing the role that you want or have the education path that you want. So for example, my daughter wants to go get her master's degree in Boston, and she wants to do forensic anthropology. That's what she wants to do. So it's a really strange degree. And so she went on LinkedIn and literally found people that had her same exact degree and went to Boston and did that degree and are doing the job that she wants. And she's reached out to them and connected with them. So that's what I would do if I were you. I would try to find people that are in that field, connect with them, and just kind of ping their brains, pick their brains and see if you could learn more about it. Worst case scenarios, I would just have them add to your network, but just keep on, it's just kind of, like I said, planting seeds for your future.
And if I can add on to that, I think one thing that I always encourage students to do is to follow, like we said, follow the industry leaders, because like if you're following the companies that you want to work at, they, Ryan's talking about post. Well, those people, those HR people, those companies, their company pages, they post always their hiring events, their workshops, their conferences. So if you're following them, it's going to show up in your feed. And LinkedIn is kind of, like Ryan said, it's a social media platform, professional, but you still, it's that same habit that you want to check it, regularly, and you become aware of things that you may not have found otherwise. So that's a really great thing to do, is follow those companies that you're interested in, and you'll know what's going on as well.
Absolutely. I have a few more minutes. If you all have a few more minutes, I don't mind sticking around and answering any questions Jill may have. So does anybody else have any questions? You want to drop any questions in chat?
I have a question.
Go for it.
Specifically for us clubs at school, where exactly would it be appropriate to put our club positions, like president or vice president of a club?
I think if you're a president or vice president, this is my opinion, you put it in the experience section. You can put it in the volunteer section if you want, because it's technically volunteering, but nobody's going to come at you and go, Luis, why'd you put that you're the president of a club in your experience section? No, nobody's going to So right. And your volunteer is so far down, I would put it front and center in your experience. Bridget did it. Evelyn was in a club. She put it in there. I can show you 10 other profiles of students that put because they were marketing, treasurer, VP, president, put that in there. But I would elaborate on it. What does the club do? How long were you president? What were your responsibilities? Why did you enjoy doing it? Kind of elaborate on it. So when people get to that post or that section of your experience section, they get more out of it than just, I was the president. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And if I can add on to that as well.
Yeah,
go for it.
Career services is getting loud. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I just love that you said that, Ryan, because I always tell the students, not only for clubs to use the experience section, but a lot of, I think we had a computer science major in there asking about, how to link. They were probably thinking about linking to their GitHub. Like if you have a class project that you did that's really cool that you're proud of, like that could be in your experience section. And actually in the experience, just like in the featured, you can link to that project as well. So it's both talking about it and showing it, because you can link right in the experience section, which is really cool.
Yeah. Previous jobs are on your experience section as well. It just, just kind of trickles up or trickles down, whatever way you want to look at it. So any job that you've had, I would put it on there. You're good to go. I was asked a question about when writing about your experience should be short and sweet. Again, I want you to feel comfortable with it. The more information you put in there, I think the better. Again, this is not a resume. And it shows that you took the time to think about what you wanted to say. If we talk about appearances and we talk about visually, like immediately giving a hiring manager or a manager, or when you think about like the stories I told you with Ariana and, every one of the stories I've told you, right? Before the CEO is going to accept your connection request, they're going to look at your profile. That's just human nature. And so when they looked at Ariana's profile and she had done posts online on LinkedIn and done a video on LinkedIn, and her profile is complete and all of this information is out, that is compelling. If you did that connection request and you had a bare bones profile, do you think they would say yes? No, they wouldn't. So my point is that the more effort you put into it, the better. That's the point. So try to think about how you would want to articulate each one of your experiences so that it tells the most compelling story. Any LinkedIn Learning course recommendations? Kevin, you are my hero. I normally do LinkedIn Learning, but it is not free for your campus. Shameless plug, I need to talk to somebody about covering it for your campus because other campuses pay for it. But my thought process on LinkedIn Learning is if you have access to it, go for it. It's really designed to bridge a skills gap. And so I have another example of a student. I didn't show anybody because LinkedIn Learning, I don't want to share because you have to pay for it. But she went to do a job at Cisco. She wanted to do an internship at Cisco, and it required Power BI. And so she went on LinkedIn Learning, took the course, put it on her profile, helped her get the job. The first person I showed you, Bridget, she was studying one thing but wanted to go into HR. She took those courses that she knew HR skills required. That. So I think you want to take content, whether it's on LinkedIn Learning or on campus, that's going to really align to the skills that you need. If the campus offers certificate programs, take those and post those on your profile. The more content you post on your profile, the more it differentiates you. When you go into the certifications, that's really huge on LinkedIn. So take advantage of that. Yeah. If you have a library card, you technically can get LinkedIn Learning. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Any other questions? Anastasia, you're on the ball. Very cool. Love it. Any other questions?
Yeah, if you have any final questions, now's the moment. Now's the moment to ask. Otherwise, we're gonna give Ryan his freedom and thank him. All right. Well, Ryan, thank you as always. Every time you come, I learn something new. Like I'm so excited about so many of the tools that you showed us, and I hope you guys are all inspired and ready to hop on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, listen, everybody, please feel free to connect with me. I'm happy to connect with you all. If you have any questions, you can always message me. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.